Hello! Do you ever feel that your classroom is boring? Are your students just staring out the window into outer space? Well, why not take them to outer space? With simulations and electronic field trips, you can take your students anywhere and help bring education to life.
Do you have students who are more hands-on with their learning? When textbooks and lectures just won't cut it, simulations can help. These are a great tool to engage your students in hands-on activities related to your lesson. Simulations can be as simple as simulating an experience using props and costumes in your classroom to using technology to explore the world around them. Now we'll use different simulations to take a trip into space. We'll begin by building a rocket, then we will fly that rocket and try to land on the moon. Using simulations to build things that students would not normally be able to build in the classroom allows for creativity, problem solving, and critical thinking skills. Students need to apply their knowledge and critical thinking skills to construct an object, in this case a rocket, that not only looks right but is practical and functional. These force students to learn and apply skills they wouldn't be able to use when reading a textbook. By using simulations, students take ownership in their learning. A simulation like rocket launcher allows students to fly a rocket into space because students can set variables like the diameter, force of gravity, and air density, and allow students to change other variables. Using what they have learned in class about mass density and gravity, students need to figure out what it would take to launch the rocket into space. When used correctly, simulations are a great supplement to the curriculum already being used in your classroom, and kids have fun learning. By using simulations such as lunar landers, students are able to use controls on the computer to try and land on the moon without crashing or flying into space. Students will need to use the simulation tools to figure out what is too fast or not fast enough to make sure the lunar lander lands on the moon. Many simulations use a similar format where students need to use their knowledge of the content along with trial and error to successfully complete the simulation.
Simulations sound great, but now it's time for some more classroom fun. Be ready for another excellent resource for educators to use to help engage your students. Let's take off into space for electronic field trips. Electronic field trips are field trips that students can take right in your classroom. Electronic field trips can take students to different cities, states, countries, or even planets. Let's take that rocket you built on your simulation and go to outer space. Electronic field trips allow all students to participate in the field trip. Doesn't matter if they're in the general education classroom, homeschooled, or a specialized instruction room. And financial costs, it's free. You don't have to worry about permission slips, collecting money. That is one awesome perk of electronic field trips. Electronic field trips also allow students to make deeper connections with their content, make global connections with other cultures, and keeps them continuously engaged in the lesson and, importantly, having fun. Students also get to utilize their technology skills with electronic field trips since they use electronic devices such as iPhones, Chromebooks, iPads, etc. to take the field trip. We know our students are all tech masters, so this will make them even more engaged in the field trip. Imagine taking your students to outer space right from your classroom. They could literally go anywhere on Earth or anywhere in the universe. Simulations and electronic field trips are both great ways to allow your students to be fully engaged in your lesson and bring the content to life. If you've not used these before, we highly recommend. Thank you so much for watching.
Created using Powtoon.